What's up, YouTube? Absolutely Cichlids here. Finally got my fish in. You guys are looking at the Trimax right now, obviously. But finally got my fish in, and I'll show you guys those here in just a second. They were supposed to be here Tuesday. Didn't make it on Tuesday, so I didn't get them till yesterday. And I know I told everybody I was going to shoot a video as soon as I got them, but they were really skittish, and they're still pretty skittish, really shy, and they were hiding all day yesterday, so I hardly even got to see them. But really excited about those. I got 8. They're all F1s, so it's my first F1s. And before I show you guys the fish, I kind of just want to talk a little bit about the F1s and wild caughts and stuff like that. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I like F1s more. For the main reason is because they're the next generation from wild caught, and by being captive bred, they're a little bit hardier in the aquarium setting, because you really got to realize that when we take these fish from the wild and put them into a glass box, pretty much, it's really stressful, and it can be really stressful, for the simple fact is most of these fish are used to wide open ranges of like rivers, lagoons, lakes, streams, what have you, you know. But there are some issues that you really have to take into consideration when deciding to keep wild caughts, and to be quite honest, that's why I haven't really dealt with wild caughts. I've never had wild caughts. These are my first F1s that I've had, and I just think that before I go diving into something such as F1s or wild caughts, that I want to learn a little more about captive bred species and kind of how they live in a tank, I guess. I mean, once you get on down the line in captive breeding, it just comes natural. They've always been in a tank. They're always going to be in a tank. Generations and generations of being tank raised. I actually got a yawning shot. That was pretty good. I missed one in my last update, so I'm glad I got that one. Completely accidental. But back to what I was saying. So, learning more about captive bred species before I go jumping into any specific origins and stuff like that. When you do decide to try your luck at raising wild caught fish, it can be well worth it. I mean, it really can. You're getting fish straight from the wild, so you get all the attitude and all that stuff that they do in the wild. So I mean, you really get to see how they act as they do in the wild, minus feeding. And unless, I mean, some people do. Some people will feed the live diet that you will see in the wild, such as like small aquatic insects, or maybe even mollusks or crustaceans or worms. I mean, any of that stuff. Some people do feed it, and some people will keep their wild caught fish strictly on their wild based diet. But the thing that I'm trying to think of how to word this. I guess the real reason why I haven't tried wild caughts yet is because there's a lot that goes into wild caughts before you can actually introduce them into a tank. And when I say introduce them into a tank, I mean before you introduce them into your main system or a community tank or whatever you're going to put them in. Before you can do that, you really need, and this is with any fish really, not just wild caughts. Any of your fish you get, I believe they should be quarantined before you add them into your tank. And for those of you that saw my last video about setting up and the benefits of a quarantine tank, this is what I'm talking about. You just want to make sure that your fish are healthy before you go putting them into another tank, I guess your main tank or your main system or community tank or whatever, because you don't want to bring in any diseases or parasites or things of that matter. So that's why you should quarantine, and wild caughts especially. In the wild, there is no API or CChem, etc. I mean, they have to deal with parasites and illnesses on their own. And that's kind of where natural selection comes in, because the ones that can't deal with that stuff will die off. So in the wild, they have to deal with this stuff, either get rid of it or just deal with it. So that's a lot of the stuff you have to take into consideration when you go buying these fish that are wild caught and bringing them into your fish room or tank or whatever. That's something you really have to think about, and you really have to keep an eye out, and that's where quarantining your fish really comes into play. And what I mean by quarantine, for those of you that didn't get to catch my quarantine tank video, a quarantine tank is a tank that you set up strictly as a quote-unquote hospital tank. And this is for like all your sick fish, or fish that you're treating, or fish that are getting picked on really bad or beat up, have scales and fins and all that good stuff missing. This is a way that you can treat these fish by themselves and kind of take some of the stress off of them from having to deal with the other bullies or things of that nature. So now that you know what a quarantine tank is used for, this is why you have to quarantine your wild caught fish, because a lot of these fish do come in and some of them will have intestinal parasites, or they have a lot of nip fins, or they're missing scales, or they have fungus or colmenaris, or I mean there's a whole book on fish diseases. I mean there's just all sorts of stuff. So any of those stuff these fish could have, I mean they're probably not going to have ick in the wild, but you get what I'm saying. So this is why you should quarantine your wild caughts. A lot of them do come in with protozoans, parasites, things of that nature, and also nipped, tattered, fins, scales missing, all that good stuff. And when you get into F1s, and this is why I tend to like F1s more than wild caughts, is because you don't really have to deal with any of that stuff. They are the next generation down from wild caught, so you kind of get all the pros of wild caughts with a more, I wouldn't really say a better looking fish. You just don't really have to deal with all the tattered fins and missing scales and stuff of that nature with F1s, because they are captive bred. They come from wild caught parents, but they are raised in a tank. They're tank raised. So that's kind of the nice thing about F1s. Also, you don't have to deal with all the diseases that they carry in from the wild. I mean, you're still going to have the diseases they can catch in your tank, but that's kind of contradicting myself, so I'm not really going to get into that. And it's not really my specialty. But if you are having problems with any diseases or parasites or anything like that, go check out my man Conway Stevens. He's a part of Aquatic Supports. You can also find him on Facebook, YouTube. It's Conway Stevens. This guy really knows his stuff when it comes to parasites, diseases, protozoan, bacteria, funguses, all that good stuff. So if your fish are sick, go talk to Doc Conway. He'll help you out. He's helped me out quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie. I'm no genius when it comes to fish diseases and stuff like that. So now that I'm getting off topic and you guys are probably falling asleep on me, let's look at the new fish as I spin around in my chair and make all of you dizzy. Here they are. There's one right there. That is a Geophagus redhead tapaho. I've heard it pronounced a couple of different ways. That's one of the species I got. The next one is right there. Little beady-eyed looking guy. That is a Gymnogeophagus labiatus. Isn't that a mouthful? But really excited about these guys. As I said, they are F1s. First F1s I've dealt with. So super stoked about that. They're still a little shy. I've been spending quite a bit of time sitting in front of this tank and also having the camera in their face for going on almost 12 minutes now. Jeez, why do I make such long videos? But it's helping them out quite a bit. They're coming around. They are eating. I fed them yesterday, last night actually, and they were eating a little bit. So they're coming around, eating some Southern Delight. Yeah. But they're doing really good. I want to tell you guys really why I picked these two species. The reason I did is because I was doing some research, just Googling some fish articles and, you know, doing all that stuff that we tend to do and spend all of our extra free time doing as fish hobbyists. Looking up new fish, learning about fish, all that stuff. Well, that's what I was doing when I come across these two species. I know that the redhead tapajos are becoming more popular in the hobby, so I did kind of know a little bit about them before going into this. But the labiatus are something I'd never heard of, I'd never seen. As most of you know who keep up with my videos and updates, I don't do much South American cichlids. Not really at all, honestly. These are kind of almost a first for me. I've had a couple species, but like got them from pet stores and stuff, so they're pretty common. But the reason I chose these fish is the way they're spawning, the way they spawn, their spawning behavior. And what I mean by that is most South and Central American cichlids are either like pit spawners or substrate spawners, whatever you want to say, or they'll spawn on a flat surface, a rock or a piece of wood or plants even, whatever. But these guys are actually mouth brooders, and they're biparental mouth brooders, meaning that both parents will brood the eggs. And this is very similar to African cichlids, and I do keep a lot of African cichlids, so it's just something, the mouth brooding is just something that really interests me. I mean, I think I find it really cool. It's just different. But they will lay their eggs in the substrate, or yeah, they'll lay their eggs in the substrate and then fertilize the eggs, and then they will pick the eggs up right before they hatch and they'll brood the eggs. And they mainly do this for just to get more fry. I mean, honestly, just protection from predators and other stuff, other threats, stuff like that. But that's kind of what pulled me toward these fish, is just that they're mouth brooders. So that was really cool. It's kind of what I was really excited about seeing. I've never seen that in, well, I've never kept geos, so I've never seen it in geos. But I'm really excited. Can't wait to watch these fish grow. I'm really glad I've got the opportunity to keep these fish. And as for most of my fish, I'm really proud to be able to have raised all the fish that I have and all the ones that I have had. So I do find myself really lucky for that. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated. I'm gonna cut this video before it gets too god awful long and you guys just quit watching. But thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I try and frequently do videos, but everybody, if you put out videos, if you don't put out videos, if you just watch YouTube, you know, sometimes life gets in the way. You get busy, you gotta work, go to school. I mean, I could give all sorts of things as to why we can't always put out a video. But we put these, well, I know, and most of my other good friends from YouTube and stuff, we try and put these videos out for you guys, the viewers. And we really enjoy it. It's just another hobby of ours that we do, just for the simple reason that you guys seem to enjoy it. So I really do appreciate all my subscribers. Y'all are the ones that make me keep doing this. So thank you guys. As I said, don't forget to subscribe and leave the comments. You leave the comments and like my videos. It makes me want to do more videos. So hit that like button. Comment. Leave a comment. Even if it's just, hey, great video. I don't care. I like seeing that stuff. It makes me want to make more videos. So thank you guys. That's all I have for you today. Stay tuned for more updates. I'm out.